Matt Bernie, you're taking a look back at this past Saturday's Grade 3 Frank J. DeFrancis Memorial Dash at Laurel Park. It was a very, very short field, and there were all sorts of stories leading into this race that we'll dive into momentarily. But eventually it led to a field of 4 that went postward. And as they break from the gate, all eyes were going to be on Whitmore. This was going to be his first start back in a number of months, and you see him now toward the back of a field that the pace early on, it may look like it was fast as far as the fractions are concerned, but it seemed like it was relatively modest. 22 and 3, 45 and 1 for the opening quarter and half, as Blue Moon Ace is the one that is cutting out the fractions right now, drawn just down to his inside is Awesome Banner. Meanwhile, a length and a half or so off the pace, 3 wide right now, is Chublicious, who was the horse that was not able to be entered in the name of Jorge Navarro. He was transferred over to Claudio Gonzalez's barn, who also has some horses for this owner. Right now, it looks like he's in a little bit of deep water, and meanwhile, Whitmore is down and inside, which generally at Laurel is not the ideal place. But you're seeing Firgo Lynch right now. He's getting into this horse, asking him for his best effort right now. Meanwhile, on the front end, you've got Blue Moon Ace, who's just winging it. And here comes Chublicious. He's really going to hit his best stride late, and down on the inside again. We talked about the fact that Whitmore was the horse that all eyes were going to be on. He went off as the 1-2 favorite in here. Maybe he wasn't on the best part of the racetrack, but this was certainly a little bit of a disappointing effort, and you see him floating out here late in the lane. Meanwhile, on the front, Chublicious has finally poked his nose in front, and he gets there just in the shadow of the wire ahead of Blue Moon Ace. Chublicious pays $22.40 on the win end. Blue Moon Ace, $4.40 to place. As you can see, there is no show wagering in a 4-horse field. If you played the exacta with the 6 and the 5, comes back $69.20 for 2. Then the $2 try comes back $107.60. Chublicious, again, he was a horse that was not allowed to be entered by Jorge Navarro. He transfers over to Claudio Gonzalez's barn. And again, Gonzalez has some horses for this owner. And that was part of the whole thing that led to this being as short a field as it was. Some of the other owners not thrilled with the way things were going, and for a number of reasons. But you see Chublicious, at the end of the day, he's a nice little horse, nice Jersey bred that all he does is go out and run big races. He has won 10 from 23 lifetime starts. He's earned over $500,000, and he's by the prolific sire. Hey, Chub. Horatio Caramanos with the ride. Chublicious earns a 99 Beyer speed figure in victory, a 123 time form U.S. rating. Blue Moon Ace, the runner-up, earns a 99 Beyer and a 124 time form U.S. rating. He actually earned the fastest time form U.S. number in this field. Not to give short shrift or anything like that to the top 2, but the big story of this race is Whitmore and the fact that he was essentially a very, very disappointing third in this spot in a race that looked like it was almost tailor-made for him with the combination of the scratches and how light the field came up. He earns a 95 Beyer in his first start back, and I suppose you can look at it and say maybe he just needed one off the bench. Trainer Ron Moquette, they talked to him afterward. Some of our reporters, including Jim Dunleavy, it sounds like the next start could be in the Grade 3 Phoenix down at Keeneland, going 6 furlongs. That would be on October the 6th. And ultimately, the Breeders' Cup Sprint is still in play for Whitmore. The concerning thing is, and it could be a combination of things that we just saw right there. You saw him drifting out down the lane. And that's just been a thing for Whitmore this year, where it seems like we get into the deep stretch and he starts floating out, and it really started down at Oaklawn. Now, maybe that's a sign of something physically maybe a little bit off, or maybe that's just him losing a little bit of his focus. Maybe in this instance, it was Firgo Lynch trying to get him off the inside, because as we made mention, it seems like just the general tendency is the inside is not where you want to be at Laurel Park. You see so many of these big sweeping moves and these big runs down the center of the racetrack as they get down to the wire, and usually those are the ones that end up prevailing. So maybe it's a combination of things, but let's just call a spade a spade. A disappointing return to the races for Whitmore, but it sounds like they will continue on with him as long as he is sound and ready to go. But it was a big effort from Chublicious. All of the other sort of extracurricular things going on in the background as far as his trainer and whatnot is concerned didn't stop the horse. All he did was go out there, run his race. He earns a 99 Beyer, winning the DeFrancis Dash.